Good day, students! How are you today? I hope that you enjoyed and submitted all your output last third quarter. I am Teacher Irvin, your English 8 subject teacher. And welcome to the new and exciting lessons of learning English, where English is as easy as ABC. I hope that you are comfortable wherever you are sitting or standing right now. And just relax while watching attentive to our new lesson. Get ready your module, pen, and notebook.
Today, you will be able to Number 1. Define primary and secondary sources. Number 2. Differentiate primary source of information from secondary source of information. And examine the content of an outline using notes from primary and secondary sources.
What is your idea when you hear and read the words sources? How about sources of information? I'm very sure that you want to learn more about them. Are you ready, grade 8 learners? Let's begin with a review of the past lesson. Last time, we thought about the use of appropriate grammatical signals or expressions suitable to each pattern of idea development, such as developing ideas from general to specific, claim and counterclaim, problem solving, and cause and effects. Can you still remember those grammatical signals? Okay, to name a few, we have because, as a result, then, could, must, and so many more. Now, we must proceed our lesson. What is your idea when you hear or read the word outline? An outline is a tool used in improving and organizing written ideas about a topic into a logical order. Writers use outlines when writing their papers to know which topic to cover and in what order. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, an outline means a summary of written work. In writing an outline of a certain topic, it is very important to know the sources of information and to recognize them. Am I right? Now, we will proceed with the activity and figure out how grammatical connectors serve a purpose in completing an outline through reading the passage and answer the questions that follow. Get your ball pen and notebook and let's try to answer it.
Watching too much. One of the physiological effects of watching TV in excessive amounts is eye strain. There are guidelines that one can follow in watching TV to protect one's eyes. First, the television should be 5 meters away from the eyes. Next, the room should be adequately lit. Also, the TV should be placed at the same height with our eyes. While this may be helpful, this do not prevent our eyes from getting tired if we keep watching TV for a long time. Now, let's proceed to our first question. What transitional devices are used in the paragraph? The devices that being used in the paragraph are first, next, also, and while. Second question. What pattern of paragraph development is observed in the passage? The answer is cause and effect pattern. Third, what is the main topic of the paragraph? Correct. The main topic of the paragraph is the effect of watching TV too much. And lastly, do you think the main topic is written using different sources? Yes! You got it right!
Great job! Do you love reading? If you do, what are the reading materials you usually scan or read? Now, I want you to get your ballpen and your notebook. Write down at least 5 reading materials you usually scan or read. I will give you 10 seconds to do it. Are you ready? Okay, let's start! Are you done? Good job, learners! Now, I will show you some examples of reading materials. You may check if you have these reading materials in your notebook.
These are some examples of reading materials: diaries, newspapers, textbooks, magazines, dictionaries, and so many more. Did you have these reading materials in your notebook? Very good, learners!
How will you know if you have the right information from a certain source? In order to know if you get the right information, you need to find out if it is taken from a trusted source. It is also important and very important to check first the type of information read or heard before trusting them. Did you get it right, learners? Alright, very good! When we do research, you have to gather information or evidences from a variety of sources. Am I right? In this case, you need information from primary and secondary sources to support your research.
What is a primary source information? Primary sources are first-hand information taken from original evidence such as reports on discoveries and events and interviews from persons in authority. Also, primary sources represent original thinking, reports on discoveries or events to share new informations. What are examples of primary source information? For original documents such as diaries, speeches, manuscripts, letters, interviews, records, eyewitnesses' account, and autobiographies. For empirical scholarly works such as research articles, clinical reports, case studies, and dissertations. For creative works, we have poetry, music, and video and photography. What is a secondary source information? Secondary sources are second-hand information taken from primary sources. Secondary source information is created later someone who did not experience first-hand or participate in the events or conditions that he or she is researching. Also, secondary sources help explain new or different positions and ideas about primary sources. What are the examples of secondary source information? The examples of secondary source information are journal articles, reviews, academic books, textbooks, commentaries. A secondary source informations, it describes, it interprets, and synthesizes primary sources. How will you recognize a primary source information from a secondary source information? Like for example, if you have novel as primary source, your secondary source should be article analyzing the novel. If you have painting as primary source, your secondary source should be exhibition catalog explaining the painting. If you have letters and diaries written by a historical figure, then your secondary source should be a biography of the historical figure. If you have photographs of historical event as primary source, the secondary sources should be documentary about the historical events. If you have government documents about a new policy as primary source, your secondary source should be newspaper article about the new policy. If you have music recording as your primary source, your secondary source should be academic book about the musical style. If you have result of an opinion poll as primary source, your secondary source should be blog post interpreting the result of the poll. And if you have empirical study as primary source, your secondary source should be a literature review that cites the study. What are the advantages of using primary source information? Primary sources are the foundation of original research. They allow you to make new discoveries, provide credible evidence for your arguments, and give authoritative information about the topic. Moreover, the advantages of using secondary source information, they allow you to gain background information on the topic, support or contrast your arguments with other researchers' idea, and gather information from primary sources that you can't access directly, like private letters or physical documents located elsewhere.
Now, Let's do the activity Know Your Source. Read the following statements inside the cards. Determine if the following statements are primary sources or secondary sources. Write letter P for primary source and letter S for secondary source on a separate sheet of paper.
Know your source. For number 1, I was watching GMA News and one of the reporters presented data about the number of patients that have recovered from COVID-19.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 2, I have found a letter in the locker room of my friend the other day. I know it is private, but I read it anyway.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My friends and I found an old wedding painting in our attic. My father said it belonged to my grandmother.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 4, I am reading textbooks to search more information about Philippine history.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 5, my friend David said that I should read the history book which he really liked. It sounds good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 6, I was also looking into the artworks of Dr. Jose Rizal to help me in my history class research project.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 7, I am writing an essay about Social Amelioration Program or SAP for my social science subject. I use articles from Wikipedia and Encyclopedia.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 8, I am doing homework on a current health issue, so I read the commentaries of medical professionals about COVID-19 positive cases.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And lastly, number 9, I have read sports magazines. I really like the articles written by sports enthusiasts about UAAP players.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Students, did you find it difficult? Now, let's check your answer. Number 1, E. Number 2, S. Number 3, P. Number 4, S. Number 5, S. Number 6, P. Number 7, S. Number 8, S. Number 9, P. Congratulations! Now, let's assess ourselves. Write the letter of the correct answer on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. Which of the following best explains secondary sources? Secondary sources present the blank. A. Commentaries which come from primary sources. B. Information which come from secondary sources. C. Information which are derived from primary sources. D. Analysis of research paper which are taken from various sources. And the correct answer is C. Number 2. Which of the following statements is true about primary source? Primary source is a blank. A. Summary of the essay. B. First-hand information. C. Concluding information. D. Second-hand information. And the correct answer is B. Number 3. Daniel is very excited for the upcoming online meeting with his teammates. As a team leader, he wants to prepare an interesting activity that could be done through online platform. Which of the following would he consider as primary source in searching for an interesting online activity? A. Biographies. B. Dissertations. C. Interviews. D. Textbooks. And the correct answer is C. Number 4. You want to write a feature article that would encourage people to keep the right attitude and stay hopeful amidst COVID-19 crisis. Which of the following could not be considered as best secondary source for your article? A. Books. B. Diaries. C. Journals. D. Reports. And the correct answer is B. Last. Number 5. Which of the following is not a benefit of outlining? Outlining would blank. A. Summarize your ideas. B. Organize your ideas. C. Present information clearly. D. Help achieve sentence variety. And the correct answer is D.
How many questions did you get correct? Good job, learners! Now, let's have a short recap on the things that we are being discussed a while ago.
Let's have a short recap. Primary source of information provides information and first-hand evidence of an actual event. Also, primary sources represent original thinking, reports on discoveries, or events that can share new information. While secondary source of information is created later by someone who did not experience firsthand or participate in the events or conditions that he or she is researching. Also, secondary source help explain new or different positions and ideas about the primary sources.
Questions. Is primary source information more useful than secondary information? The answer is both primary and secondary sources are useful because they complement each other to help you build a convincing argument.
For your assignment, research for primary and secondary sources relevant to racial discrimination. Using your notes, make a topic outline, Be guided by the rubric for scoring your output. Do this on a separate sheet of paper.
And that concludes our lesson for today. See you again next time in another learning video lesson where English is as easy as ABC. Always remember from the famous quote of Nelson Mandela that education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. Stay safe and together we heal as one.